Hello, folks out there. This episode of the podcast is partnered by Audible. Greg, you know what I love about Audible?
What do you love about Audible,
I
John?
don't have to pick up a book anymore and carry it around with me. In fact, I carry it around in my phone, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. They literally keep thousands of titles right on your phone, accessible at any time when you're driving, when you're cooking, when you're mowing the lawn, changing a diaper, doesn't matter. It's all right there at your fingertips, John. They've got podcasts, they've got lectures, they've got some like health and wellness and like fitness series on there that if you just are looking for something to fill that gap, like you're not getting into a book right now, it's all there for you, man.
If you're a member, Greg, what's cool about it is you get 3 titles per month. The first one, you can pick whatever you want. Like I've said, I'll probably start hitting up some of those health and wellness books. And then what's awesome is they have 2 Audible exclusives. Exclusives, folks. You can't get it anywhere else.
It's true. That is very true. So if you guys want to get on the Audible train, you can go to audibletrial.com/JATG. That stands for Johnny and the Greg. Hook yourself up with a 30-day free trial. No promises, no nothing. If you don't like it, which I can't imagine you're not going to like it, you can cancel at any time. But the great thing about that is the books you get during your free trial, or if at any time, those books are yours. Like you get to keep them. You can listen to them nonstop, anytime, all the time.
Sounds like a deal to me, man. So if you guys are smart, like I know you guys are, because you already listen to this podcast, sign yourself up, guys. What do you got to lose? It's 30-day free trial, and it's books, it's knowledge. Gotta drink it up.
It is. It is. So one more time, it is audibletrial.com/JATG.
Back at it again, hopefully better than ever. Johnny and the Greg. How's it going, G?
I'm doing all right. It was
That's the
crazy.
first time I've ever called you G.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what came over me there. I usually reserve that for my daughter, actually. I just call her G.
G.
How you doing, bud?
Doing all right. It's been a crazy bit of time here. Because we're at, what are we at? The end of April? Or are we into May now?
Of April. Well, we're getting there. It's 2 weeks left.
It's been nuts. My job did a bunch of crazy changes, and my title change, work responsibilities change, stuff like that. So I've just been kind of spinning a little bit, but overall it's been good. Like I'm looking forward to the summer.
Me too, man. Me too. I
Can't
can't wait till the chill is out of the air a little bit.
Yeah.
So, just FYI to people out there, if you haven't hit the like button yet or subscribed, please do so now. We would greatly appreciate that. That helps us out.
Yeah.
This episode is coming out this week. The next episode is going to be basically we're going to meet. You guys are going to actually meet Greg's oldest daughter, Kate. We're going to go over slangs of the
current teenage
sayings.
Yeah. Because we're old now and we don't know what our kids are talking about. So
if you guys happen to catch up on this lingo, good for you. But that'll be coming the following week because I will be going on vacation, which I'm very excited about. So heading to Florida to go to a wedding. I've never been to the Florida Keys, so I'm really excited about.
Oh, you're going down to the Keys. Nice.
Yeah. So that should be fun. It is my first time with my little girl going on a plane and going to a completely different state. Like we've done drives to Wisconsin.
Ooh. Yeah. And ears don't pop when you're driving to Wisconsin, but they will on a plane.
Yes, they will. So I have to explain that to my daughter.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
Should be. Load up whatever iPad, phone, whatever she watches stuff on. Mm-hmm. Get that good and loaded because it could be fine,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be hell.
Yes.
And if it's hell for you, it's hell for everybody on that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm worried about is the plane. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm worried about the plane.
Uh-huh. Did she keep her mask on for a long time?
Yeah, she's actually very good at it now.
Okay.
So,
that's one less struggle you'll have.
yeah, the mask thing, it's been a while, but since I pointed out to her that, hey, everybody has to wear it, then she's kind of on board for it. So, that's not getting as bad as it used to be. So she's getting used to that. It's just, I don't know how we're going to most of her pad thing there, which is funny because I said I'd never get her one of those things at this age, but here I am getting her. I'm finding myself doing that a lot with parenting, actually, is that I said I wouldn't ever do this, and I find myself doing it now.
I remember you and I having a conversation. I don't even know if she was born yet. And you were just like, I never want to lie to my kids. And I just started laughing. I'm like, you lie to your kids every day. Anytime you say the word maybe to get them to stop bothering you, you are lying to your kids.
Yeah, no, this is going to come off wrong, but I fuck around with her a lot. I tell her all this shit all the time. Like, I think she's in this habit now of she remotely feels any type of discomfort. There's an immediate need for a Band-Aid.
Yes.
Gotta give her all this attention. And so I started telling her stuff like, oh, God, we're going to have to cut this off. All right, let me go get the knife. And she'll freak out and like, it doesn't hurt. I'm like, oh, okay, then we're good. So I guess I'm lying. I'm teasing. So
the best thing is when your kids get a little older and they're still doing the Band-Aid thing. Like, oh, I have a scrape or a cut or whatever. Like, I need a Band-Aid. And you go, is it bleeding? No. Then why do you need a Band-Aid?
Right.
And they're just looking at you like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Like, if it's not bleeding, what's the Band-Aid going to do?
Yeah.
And
then it's like a placebo effect for them.
Oh, totally.
Placebo. Yeah. All right, man. So I've heard some things out in the interwebs.
Okay.
There was an article with Chris Hemsworth, and I don't know exactly where the article is. I actually, but I read it this week, where he wasn't bashing anybody, but he was drawing a comparison that I never really thought about. What he was basically saying was, for the people out there that gain 50 pounds of fat for a role in a movie, or go extremely the other way, like with Matt Damon when he was in, what was that one movie where he plays a very small role, but he was showing the effects of guilt in the military. And I remember him talking on Oprah how he would run 5 miles every day and he only ate egg whites. That's all he did.
Okay.
And so he got down to a sickly weight. The most famous one I can think of is Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. I mean, that was, and the thing about that is that he was unhealthy. I mean, he looked anorexic.
Right.
And I don't say that as a euphemism. I mean, he literally looked like his life was in danger because of how skinny he was. And then he completely did a 180 for
Batman. Yeah.
Batman Begins.
Right.
To the point where there's a beginning of Batman Begins where he's like on the columns and he's fighting like two guys and doing blocks and stuff. To the point where he looked like he was getting to be that super thick kind of muscular.
Yeah.
More of a power lifter build than like the superhero build, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then he had to like pare back and lose more weight again. So he has yo-yoed how many times?
Well, he's especially in his mind.
Yeah. And then he played Dick Cheney or something.
He's a method actor, man. He is a thespian at heart. He is like, oh, I need to feel what it's like to get my teeth pulled out. When I go to the dentist, I'm gonna have him pull out a tooth without, Novocaine, so I know what it feels like. He's that type of guy. But anyway, what Hemsworth was saying was that the people that either gain weight unhealthy wise, and I mean like they gain fat, like 50 pounds of fat for a role, or they lose 200 pounds for a role, they get almost more of a wow, what an actor versus a guy who puts on 20, 30 pounds of muscle.
Right.
And he says, you know, when people like that put on the muscle, all of a sudden they're not really considered as good an actor as the people that have gone the other direction. And I thought it was a really interesting point because he's right. You don't give a lot of props for people like you go, oh, good, he gained weight. Like, oh, wow, he looks muscular. But all of a sudden, when you see somebody like, again, Christian Bale and The Machinist, you're like, oh my God, this guy is so committed.
Right.
You know?
Actually found the article on Yahoo News, actually.
Okay.
Part of their insider.
Yeah, you got his exact quote.
I'm looking for it now. I will post what I found in the description as well. It says Marvel star Chris Hemsworth says there's a difference in how actors are perceived when they build muscle for a role versus when they lose an unhealthy amount of weight for a job.
Yeah.
There's an aesthetic that the role requires. He told this to the Telegraph about his physical appearance for playing Thor. He said bodybuilding is seen as vanity, whereas if I put on a bunch of unhealthy weight or got unhealthily skinny for a role, I'd probably be called a serious actor.
Which is funny because he actually did. If you remember that movie that he was in there with I think it's
Surfer.
based on, no. It was based on Moby Dick. Him and Tom Holland were in it.
Oh yes, that shoot.
Heart of the Sea or something?
Heart of the Sea, yes.
Yeah, where they're like on a lifeboat after Moby Dick destroys the boat.
Yeah.
They're on a
and it's the Heart of the Sea is actually the story that Moby Dick was based off of, and then they made a movie about it. So but yes, that's this.
Yeah.
The idea is that a white whale destroyed their ship.
But I'm sure if you look up right now on pictures, I'm sure if you show up Heart of the Sea Chris Hemsworth, like weight, he lost a ton of weight for that.
Yeah.
I remember that. He got really skinny actually. But actually I remember hearing his trainer talk about how he was only on 500 calories during that time. A day, 500 calories a day. But anyway, I think going back to this article, he makes a great point.
He does. He really does.
Yeah.
When we see, these guys that do like the superhero workout, and they're doing it for these mega blockbusters. But because the role is for a comic film, or something
Black
like
Adam.
that, Batman, they're not seen as a serious actor. Where if someone else does it for a role, like if they get fat to play a politician,
yes,
oh my God, he's so committed.
Right.
Look what he did. Look what he put himself through.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ridiculous because as a chubby guy, I can tell you that I didn't suffer to get here. It's not like I was getting up in the morning and like, oh man, got to put in the work.
Pancakes and waffles.
Here we go. What are you doing? Donuts and bacon? Come on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hemsworth is like putting in work.
Yeah, he's putting in work. And guys, look, I don't have to tell a lot of you out there, anybody that's tried to get into any type of shape, superhero wise, it's a tough thing to do. But it's also a tough thing to only eat 500 calories a day and come across like you're starved. But what these actors do to their bodies is it's hard either way. So I think he makes a great point there that we shouldn't. The only thing I'm going to say is I'm interested to see Natalie Portman in the Thor movie because we've seen small little snippets of pictures from afar, and she looks like she's gotten buff. Like she got big.
Well, what's interesting as I read through this article, and you sprung this on me, I didn't get a chance to read this beforehand, but he talks about, part of the work is based off the costume. So like in Thor, if the costume is showing bare arms, then he's got to hit his arms hard.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to worry, which kind of explains, like, have you ever seen his lower extremities? Like,
yeah, you were ripping on him a little bit with that.
well, because and I was ripping on him. You're absolutely right. I was, because I'm like, look at those chicken legs. Because he doesn't, like, does he never? I mean, do like squats or leg day or calf raises or anything? This
sounds stupid. I'm coming to the defense of this man, which I don't need to, but he does for sure. He's always pushing sleds. He's always doing something. Actually, I've always seen him. He's always doing something. But I know what you're going for. Go ahead. Sorry.
It makes sense though. They're not focusing on making his legs massive.
Correct.
Because how often do you see Thor's legs?
Right. You know what's going to be interesting is if he's kind of buffing up for Thor as well as Hulk Hogan.
That I definitely want to see him in that role, because that's the role I think where people will take him seriously as an actor. No, I also saw the hotel one. Shit. Where he played like a bad guy villain. And
that was awesome. El Royale.
Trouble at the El Royale.
It's the first time he's ever spoke with an English accent.
Yes, and did so well. That's a good movie.
I'm sorry, American accent, not English. Yeah. American accent.
I caught you. You're good.
Yeah.
But I think this Hulk Hogan piece is going to be. Sorry, my wife is still texting me. I think that this Hogan piece, if they play it off like I think they should, you're going to see more drama and more emotion from him than we've seen before.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have a problem with his acting. I thought he did a good job. He's kind of getting. I don't want to say he's getting typecast, but he's a movie star where you don't go to see him like Gary Oldman, in my opinion, is considered a fantastic actor. The guy that's the voice right now for Omni-Man in Invincible, fantastic actor. I forgot. J.K. Simmons?
Oh, J.K. Simmons, yeah.
Yes. Those are guys where you love them. They can be the cuddly dad in one movie, and the next they're a drill instructor from hell. I don't think Chris Hemsworth ever is going to go that way. I think he's going to play a good bad guy. I think he's going to play. He played a good bad guy. I think he's obviously going to play a great hero.
Have you seen J.K. Simmons lately?
Yeah, he got huge.
He got fit.
He got fit. That's a better word. He got fit.
But I mean, and of course, like the one picture I saw, he was in the middle. He was like mid. He's mid curl, which. If you work out at all, I mean, I who haven't worked out in numerous years, if you caught me mid curl, you'd be like, that dude's got muscles in his arms.
Yeah,
I mean, but he was kind of, he was bigger. He had the dad gut in the George Clooney movie with Anna Kendrick. Air Up There, I think is that the name of it.
I have no idea.
They go around firing people for their jobs. And J.K. Simmons was in it, and it was like he was supposed to be like at the end of his career, kind of, or like, and he looked it, and then he got the role of. Well, everybody thought he was doing it for the role of Jim Gordon.
Yeah, he said he wasn't.
He's like, no, I just need to get in shape because I'm completely out of shape. But anyway.
Yeah. So I guess if you guys have a chance, I think we are going to hook it up. We're going to put the article up in the description below on our YouTube channel. So check that out because I think he makes a good point. I think he's right.
And you brought up Natalie Portman. I'm going to be interested to see for her version of Thor.
Yes.
What are they going to keep her costume true to Jane Foster's costume in the comics, or are they going to do something weird? Are they going to over-sexualize it? Is what I'm worried about.
Okay, My first question as a man to a man is, why are you worried about it? My second question is, I think they're going to, it depends in the story if they go with who is this new Thor versus, oh, it's Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to go, which way are they going to go with that? I think just like men are six pack, the superhero build
Mm-hmm.
is I mean, I guess we could go this way. Isn't that kind of like, over sexualizing a guy?
It is, but I wonder how they're going to play it off. Are they going to like getting Chris Hemsworth's shirt off in Thor has become a staple. Like from the
Right.
very
Which
first
he
Thor
hates, by the
film.
way, I've heard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from the very first Thor film, like, I mean, he's jacked. How are we going
Yes.
to show that off?
Right.
I feel like they're going to want to do that with Natalie Portman, but they're not going to have a shirt off topless moment with Natalie Portman. And if they do, I can see them catching some shit.
They're not gonna go topless.
Not topless, no, but
But you mean
if,
like her and her bra getting changed?
yeah, yeah, like just
Let
to
me ask you a
show,
question.
but
Like,
to show off her
that's a good
muscles,
point. They never
like
they never do that for a woman.
not in the Marvel films, no.
But they never do that I've never seen them do that in a movie for a woman. I've seen them show like the one I remember that was pretty buff was Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2.
Okay.
Like I remember them showing her muscles.
Well, like when they
She was
showed
in,
her doing pull-ups.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And so you saw she was in shape.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time they've purposely had a girl like changing to show her muscles. They've done it 100 times to show her how sexy her body is, but
Well,
not.
they do it. They just don't do it in like major blockbusters. I mean, Gina
Okay.
Carano's been in some
I don't
B-level
think
films.
I don't think they're going to go that route, but who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
It would seem out of place.
It would. And I think they had to do a lot of things. And I think they really had to sell it back for Natalie Portman to come back, to be honest, because I thought she was very happy leaving.
I thought she was too. Like the
And
fact that they brought her back, I was like, oh,
yeah,
all right.
I was shocked by that. But the reason I brought up Natalie Portman is because this is my little, if I'm going to nitpick something, I'm going to nitpick this.
Okay.
It's going to show me, okay, gal, why couldn't you do that for Wonder Woman? Because I see Wonder Woman as like how I think
Oh,
I'm gonna
that
see.
kind of fit.
Yeah, she's an Amazon. Like if you looked at every one of her other Amazonian counterparts, they were
Yeah,
muscular. They were
they brought
ripped.
in some bodybuilding women for
Yes,
sure.
but I know a couple of them were CrossFit athletes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I know um, even the girl. I don't remember the name of the actress, but Robin Wright. I think it was Robin Wright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, she looked buffer than Gail Gadot.
Normal. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they did that with her. I mean, other than somebody thought possibly they wanted to keep her level of femininity, which to a broad audience would mean not buff.
Yeah.
But with Thor, it's kind of the accepted, although Captain, they should have did a costume change with Cap when he picked up Mjolnir.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like
That would make sense. I know what you're saying.
in the Marvel comics, anybody who picks up Mjolnir has like some version of Thor's costume.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Well, and it didn't happen with Cap in the comics either. He just picked it up and
Right.
tossed it back to Thor.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I think partially her getting buffed is because she's going to spend some time with Thor's powers, and they needed to show that that's the
What
difference.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I just that was the one thing that bothered me about Wonder Woman, but I'll move on. Anyway,
The one thing.
the one
'Cause if
thing. Yeah.
if we're talking about Wonder Woman 2, I've got a lot of
No,
things
no,
that bother me
1984
about
we're
that
not
one.
talking about. We're talking about the first one. Uh, there was also another article I read this week. There's the NFL draft coming up, and I'm a big draft nerd, but I haven't gotten into it this year as much as I usually do because I
Oh.
think it's the years of throwing my hat down and going, the Bears picked that guy? What? You know, and then
Okay. Yeah.
watching almost
Understandable.
every draft pick that I just put my head in my hands and just cry in my beer after they anyway, I'm not gonna go there. So the first pick this year, without a doubt, is supposed to go to a quarterback from Clemson. His name is Trevor Lawrence. He looks like Sunshine from Remember the Titans.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, long flowy hair.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a surfer dude. Grew up in Atlanta, so that's kind of funny that here's this surfer. He looks just like you. Like, oh, that dude grew up in Long Beach. That's what you would
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a Sports Illustrated article that came out, and they would talk to him, and he said basically that no, I have nothing to prove to anybody. I'm not the type of guy that has a chip on my shoulder. Um, that doesn't bother me. And I guess throughout the article, and I didn't read the article, I just heard the sport pundits talk about this. But in the article, what he basically was saying was that football isn't his life. He could walk away tomorrow and be
Oof.
very
Really?
happy. He could um, win or lose, doesn't really matter to him. He says, and he kind of said, look, I don't want this to take away by how much I love football and how much it means to me, but
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
Okay. Which, if that's my son, I'm very proud.
Yeah.
If that's my quarterback, I'm a little worried. I'm just going to be that. And
Okay.
it made me really think to myself, okay, wait a second now. God, to be the best of the best in a dog eat dog world,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be like, what's the price of success? And I think the price of it is obsession. Like, I know Michael Jordan was obsessed. Tom Brady, without a doubt, is stupidly obsessed.
Yes.
Um, and I think that's what people look for. And again, like I said, if he's my son, I'm proud of him that he's not putting all of his eggs in one basket and that he
Mm-hmm.
realizes there's life after football. But if I'm his head coach or I'm his wide receiver or he's my player on my favorite team, I'm concerned. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, if I think kudos to him for having his priorities in order. Um, I don't think that really worked out well for some other quarterbacks like Colin Kaepernick or Tim Tebow or, Jacob. Yeah. But just that idea of, hey, football's not life, man. There's a lot more to it out there, and I can do a lot of different stuff. And those guys aren't playing football right now.
No.
Like none of those guys we mentioned are playing football right now, at
Right.
least not professionally. So I mean, you're still the number one draft pick. I mean, you're going to go in. I think he's trying to maybe.
I think he made his first mistake of being honest. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I think maybe he's trying to just keep his expectations low. Of like, yeah, I'm the number one draft pick. That doesn't mean I'm automatically going to be a success in the NFL. Like, I need to.
This kid's history, he's never not been number one in anything.
Right.
Like, he was the number one high school recruit. He was the number one freshman in college. He was the number one, like, he's the number one pick. When he went to the quarterback camp, he was the number one prospect. Like, this kid's never not been number one.
Right.
So I understand the not having a chip on my shoulder because when you're number one,
there's nothing to chip. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like no one's sitting there telling you you can't do this.
You've never been picked second, so you don't really know what that's like.
Exactly. So I understand that point of view. What I don't understand is it's not my life.
Yeah, because It is your life.
It needs to be. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look, that's not. Again, if my son wanted to be a football player, I would tell him how bad do you
Yeah.
how bad do you want to suffer? Because that's what it is. And what I mean, I don't mean pain in terms of, I mean like not going to the party because you have to review game film, or not going on a date because you got to do this. Those are what those people are doing.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if he's just trying to manage his expectations a little bit, because I mean, the number one draft pick for a quarterback, you could very well be picked up by a completely awful team.
Oh, he's going to an awful team. He's going to the
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, and now you're tasked with either raising up a terrible team, or just waiting out your time until you can end a contract and
yeah.
and be
Not only
traded.
that, it basically is: are you going to be Jamarcus Russell? Who, Greg? Have you ever heard of that guy?
No.
Okay, that's my point. Or are you going to be Peyton Manning?
Oh, I heard of him.
Yeah, that's my. I mean, and that's what he's looking at. Are you going to be Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
Who went to the Colts at the time? The Colts were like, fuck the Colts.
Yeah.
And then he raised them up. Are you going to do that for Jacksonville? That's the expectation, because now you're basically you're. I don't know if you're necessarily the CEO of the company. You're more or less like you're the golden boy of the company.
Well, yeah, you're the face of the company for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. If you guys have any thoughts, anything you want to add, hit us up on any of our platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, comments, whatever. Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. Let us know on both. But so I was thinking, hey Greg, there is one episode left of The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So far, it sounds like you're not a fan of it.
I'm kind of not.
Why is that? Interesting. Tell me about it.
I'm just, it's not hitting me in any of the feels. I mean,
The way that did Wanda and Vision do that?
it did. I mean, it took, like with Wanda and Vision, like, yes, those first couple episodes were super corny.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Dick Van Dyke episode, you're like, what's happening?
Right.
But I caught on. I think, I don't want to say like I caught on earlier than everybody else, but I could see early on what was happening. Like, oh, whether it's Wanda or somebody else, they're going through different genres of TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught that kind of just from the promotional stuff that they put out, the previews, the spots, the stuff like that.
Right.
And you're like, they're going to have like a different theme as they go through, and they're going to be like revealing secrets as they go. And so I was kind of prepared for the slow start, but like there was enough at the end of each episode where you're like, oh shit. And it kind of just kept it going and going and going. And with Falcon Winter Soldier, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm siding with the Flag Smashers for one. Like hey, this world sucks and there's injustice everywhere. We've got some super soldiers that can help right it. And you're going, okay, sure. That sounds like a good thing. And, you know, Sam and Bucky fighting over the shield. All right. Yeah, I guess. And the other thing, we had a big discussion in our house. Like they're talking about, like, hey, Steve's gone. Is Steve dead? Like, are we at a point where we're assuming he's dead? Because they talk about him like he's dead.
Are you asking me?
But I was like, wow, did you freeze? What happened there?
No. I don't know if you're done yet or not. That's all.
Well, but I mean, there's just nothing. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care about his sister and her boat. The biggest portion of this story that I care about is kind of what's Zemo doing? Like, what's his overall game plan?
Mm-hmm.
And Isaiah Bradley, because that to me is interesting.
Okay.
And they're not going to do anything with Bradley. I'm pretty sure I know what's in the box.
Me too. Everybody does.
Yeah. Well, you know,
that's the problem with toy companies, by the way.
And so you go, okay, well, they've got one episode left, right?
Yeah, one episode.
Yeah. Okay, tie it up. And
Yeah.
let's get to Loki. That's I'm like, let's.
I can't wait for Loki. In fact, I'm very upset I have to wait till June. But anyway, I tend to agree with you more than less, if that makes any sense. Like if I were to give this a grade, I would walk out a B minus.
Yeah, I'd rate it a C plus right now.
You know, and here's the thing. I have two problems actually. My first problem was I think it was the second or third episode. Disney threw something in our face where I felt like you didn't have to do that. Why are you doing this? Or I'm sorry, I know why you're doing this. I don't think it's necessary. Right after they left Isaiah Bradley's house, they had that episode where Sam's really upset about it and Bucky's like trying to calm him down and cops pull up on him and said, "Sir, do you need help? Is this
Right.
guy being aggressive?" I thought
Mhm.
that was I'm not going to pretend like I know, but to me, that was like, that's in your face and it wasn't necessary. It didn't make sense to me. If you want to go that route, Isaiah Bradley's a great story to go that route with.
Mhm.
The character's actually in the comic books. He's actually gone through some horrible things in the comic books. So the Isaiah Bradley thing, I'm absolutely okay with in terms of him being in the story. There was that
Right.
one small part where I felt like, what are you doing this for? That doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Okay. The other part is Baron Zemo and his mask. Look, I get it. He's an actor and he talks very quiet, so you need to maybe he didn't want to be muffled, but that mask needs to be on. And they should have wrote it in like,
Mhm.
I'm not taking this off he could have said like as a tribute to my Sokovia people until we
Sure.
are rightfully avenged or whatever. He needs to wear that mask. He wore it one time to fight and that's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's just walking around with a mask.
Well, but Falcon has worn his Falcon suit twice.
Yes, no. I get that. Right. But we've seen Falcon suit in how many movies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. How long we've been waiting for Zemo? Right. And he puts on a mask to take out two guys.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's the last time he's worn a mask. And I don't think we're seeing him anymore. I think Zemo's done. Zemo's at the raft, and maybe a
Right.
ending
Yeah, no,
credit is going to be Thaddeus Ross walking up to him and saying, "Hey, I was wondering if you're interested in something."
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that could be.
that's probably where that's going. The character of Sam Wilson, I've tended to like the Falcon more with him
Mhm.
than I've ever liked the Falcon, and I'm a Captain America fan, so I've read enough comics. I've just never been a Falcon guy. I thought the whole talking to birds was stupid.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't do it with this, but Bucky, I wanted to see more of a badass because I also
Yeah.
like Bucky. I also like that character. I know you're not a fan of him, but I like that character. But I expected more. I know this sounds weird. I expected more action. I expected more
Yes.
Winter
This
Soldier
is
action, if that makes sense.
this has been a Talking Heads series for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And there have been action, but I don't know. I walk away. I walk away not going meh, but I walk away going okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been I haven't been impressed by the fight scenes
No,
really.
no.
Um Even this last one where are we putting spoilers out there? I'm gonna anyway. Um where it was Falcon Winter Soldier versus Walker.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was very disappointed by that.
It
I was all
just
ready for it too. I put a
wasn't.
hashtag up. I was ready to go.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And no, it wasn't. It was
Wasn't
very
it wasn't epic. It
no,
really
it wasn't.
wasn't.
Everybody
So
thought it was going to be Iron Man in the Civil War, the final battle in Civil War,
right.
which
It
was
wasn't.
fantastic, but it
Mhm.
wasn't even close to that.
So I mean there's and I don't blame the actors at all.
No, of course
A
not.
lot of people. I mean, I think Sebastian Stan had a scene 2 episodes ago where they were testing him in Wakanda to see if he could resist the words. That was a great piece of acting.
Yes, it was. He went from crying, like worried, to elated.
To the nonverbal acting that he did.
Yep.
Of angry, stressed, looking like he's fighting off something while crying, looking angry and stressed. So yeah, that elation. It was like, wow, that kudos to him. I thought that was
I agree. I agree. I think he's done some small little things that if you're not paying attention, you're going. I mean, if you're not paying attention, you'll miss them. But if you're paying attention, and I pay attention to that stuff. You go, oh, he can act.
Early on when he was on the date, he had some little things in there that were really good.
That moment where he really tells Sam why he's upset about him giving up the shield when they're with that psychiatrist.
Some people were saying that was ad-libbed. Like that was
good for him because it was awesome.
I was like, okay, yeah. The voice
awesome.
crack in there was good.
You get the feeling he's carrying the idea of a guy that's torn up over what he's done in his life.
Well, he's like PTSD. I mean, he's a guy dealing with PTSD. And Sam, for someone who even said on the show, I used to counsel soldiers with it's like, you're not empathetic at all. Like, I'm not feeling anything but cardboard. Or not cardboard. That's wrong. I'm just feeling like he doesn't care about Bucky at all. Like
Bucky's more of an annoyance.
Yeah. Like, I'm not feeling the friendship there or any form of camaraderie.
I don't think there's friendship there. I think there's respect.
Even like the scene when they're building the boat, and there was some like bits of comedy in there. Even the comedy pieces, like when Falcon's trying to like lift up the aluminum piece on the boat, and then Bucky just comes and like rips the whole thing off. And then I looked at him like, that's like sheet metal. Anybody could have ripped that off. like the whole thing I'm looking at, I'm like, it's not hitting like you want it to.
Yeah. I think it's almost a part of, I used to say this about Will Ferrell. I used to think he was great as a sidekick or a part in a movie, like a cameo part, but unless you give him something incredibly goofy, he's not going to carry a movie.
Yeah. And
I get the feeling that this whole Falcon and Winter Soldier thing started when they were in the car at when he was meeting up with Sharon Carter in Civil War, when Captain America was and they had that small little banter and that small little, like, they were both like cheering on Steve when he kissed Sharon, right? And I think they were like, hey, let's do something with them, or when they fought Spider-Man. And I think they got carried away with the idea that, hey, you know what? Maybe
people
these guys
want this.
Yeah,
they want to see this.
Yeah, and it was kind of a. Well,
and I think they're right. We do want to see that, but I don't think we're seeing that. That's the issue. I don't think they're delivering. I don't think the writers are delivering.
Well, I think the writers got in trouble because I think halfway through it they had to change the script. Because from what I understood, the threat was a virus. The Flag Smashers were going to release a virus, and they thought, well, guys, we can't do that now. And I think that took away from a lot of things, and I'm sorry. I know for a fact that was the original plot, was there was a virus.
Okay.
I don't know what they had to do after that. Maybe they're throwing this power broker in now, and maybe they're making the super soldiers the main focus where that wasn't the main focus. I don't know. But I actually think Wyatt is a very good actor. Wyatt Russell, John Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess the only question I have for you, sir, is who do you think the power broker is? Because I think we're going to find out. I don't think it's Sharon Carter. I think it's a red herring.
I don't think it's Sharon Carter either. They threw in Julia Louise Dreyfus to come in as
she was awesome, by the way.
The Contessa, and she was great. That's Madam Hydra,
right?
That's that character. When you look her up, she comes up as Madam Hydra, which said she was also in the Logan movie. Not Logan. I'm sorry. Wolverine. The Wolverine. Like the woman who does the poison tongue thing. I didn't realize that was Madam Hydra when I watched that movie.
I didn't know that.
But
Or
that's
she's
what
Viper.
Viper. There, yeah, and I didn't know Viper.
Isn't Madam Hydra used to be Viper?
I didn't know that. I thought Madam Hydra was Madam Hydra with like the gold mask, right? Hit my mic. With the gold mask. I thought that was Madam Hydra.
I just thought it was a green green bodysuit and green hair, right?
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm thinking on Lady Mask. I don't know. Anyway, Julie Louise Dreyfus is playing, I believe, the new leader of Hydra.
Right.
Like that's gonna and kind of fit. Like they're gonna do the Hydra cap.
I was just gonna say that.
But it's gonna be John Walker.
Yes.
And you go, okay, well, I suppose that's one way to do it because it's not like they're gonna do the cosmic cube and
right.
bending of reality and everything else. So I think that's a decent way to do it. And I thought Wyatt Russell had it when he's not on trial and he's not even in a court martial.
No.
But he's being stripped of his Captain America title.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great moment, and I thought he acted well. He had some, again, you're kind of siding with the bad guys. I am. He's like, you made me. I did exactly what you made me to do. And I'm like, yep, he's not wrong. And then I love that he walked out. He's like, fuck you guys. And just turned his back and walked away.
Yeah.
But this last episode,
I don't think it's as good as people are pumping it out as.
The last episode,
the overall series. No, the overall series. The overall
right. Well,
series.
and this is we kind of mentioned this before. Like when it came to the films, like every movie, like people have this expectation now of, and the media lies every time when they're like the best Marvel movie ever. Right. Well, you can't be 30 films in or whatever they're at now. They all can't be the best one ever.
Right.
You can't keep one-upping yourself. That's unsustainable. So I think what we've hit here is an okay Marvel product.
Yeah. It's an okay Marvel Disney Plus show.
Yeah. There are a lot of Marvel properties that I go back and rewatch and some that I don't. And this is just going to be one that I don't.
What are the ones you do?
The ones that I do? I rewatch the first Iron Man film often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok I watch a lot. First Avengers film I watch a lot. Captain America First Avenger I watch a lot. Actually, the Cap films are all three of them I watch.
They're very good. Somebody once asked me if you could only watch one of the three trilogies, would it be Iron Man or Cap? I said Cap all the way.
Yeah.
They're better. They're better stories. Like Iron Man 2, I didn't like. I know a lot of people did not like Iron Man 3. I actually don't mind that one. Iron Man 1's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all Caps are great.
I agree. If someone asked me to pick if you could only watch one Marvel film, what are you going to watch? And I'm going to watch Captain America First Avenger. I think that is a fantastic, near perfect film.
It's interesting. I find Winter Soldier better.
Yeah. And some people do. But I'm the classic.
Because I always wanted to see Cap be that way. Mm-hmm. I was disappointed a little bit in the first Avenger, the first time I saw it, and then when I saw it again, I was like, okay, I know what they're trying to do now.
Right.
This makes sense. And this is a really good film. And then the Winter Soldier one, I was like, oh man, it's just Cap kicking ass. And it's Cap taking on everybody. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm. So. And it's, I mean, I will watch any one of the Cap films without, some people are like, well, don't you want to watch the one before this? I'm like, no, I don't need to do that. I will watch any of them at any time.
Yeah.
Ones I don't go back to, I honestly don't go back to Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that often.
No, that's not good.
I don't.
Guardians of the Galaxy is good. Gwen's just starting to get into that because she loves
Yeah.
Rock and Groot, and so I showed her the first movie. And that's the first time I've watched the movie since I've seen the movie.
Mhm.
I thought I was like, oh wow, this is really good.
It is. The second one I didn't. The second one didn't hit me.
I
real
agree.
well. I was like, okay.
Right.
Iron Man. See, and I'm opposite. I will watch Iron Man 2 before I watch Iron Man 3
Okay.
because I like the War Machine storyline. And they kind of they touched on Demon in a Bottle, which is a classic Iron Man story of him being an alcoholic. And they never went back to it again.
Yeah.
What else? The Thor. I just watched Ragnarok. I mean, I will watch the original Thor every once in a while.
I watch all three.
Yeah,
I do. I like them. I like them. I don't know why. I know I'm very in the minority. I can see where people find fault in them. The first two were too much serious. The first one seems like should have been basically a Sunday night movie special.
it feels a little bit like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
The second one, I think they tried. Game of Thrones was at their apex during that time.
Right.
I think they tried to do something with that. I think they tried to put some sort of flavor in there with Thor. And then Tycho was like, no, dude, this is like He-Man meets Flash Gordon.
Yeah. Well, and with the first Thor film, Thor Dark World, and the first Avengers film, Tom Hiddleston, I think, steals scenes where he's so enraged and then he'll have like just one tear just drop down his face. And you're just like, son of a bitch, that guy's good.
Yeah.
And that's why I will watch Thor Dark World, is to see the Thor Loki relationship stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
But mostly Tom
Hiddleston
because he's great.
I agree. Let's just stop for a second because I think, okay, with the first Thor, you have Anthony Hopkins, you have Chris Hemsworth, you have Tom Hiddleston, and you have who's Heimdall again? Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Wow, with the acting.
Yeah. You've got some powerhouses there, and American audiences didn't even know Idris Elba.
No, they
didn't. At the time, they're like, "Who's that guy? He's got a cool voice, I guess."
Yeah. But anyway, so go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, just thinking about movies that I will go back and watch.
I won't go back and really watch the first Avengers. I won't go back and watch Age of Ultron, which everybody is starting to rip on that one. It didn't bother me. I didn't mind it.
No, I think it's fine. Part of the reason I will go back and watch the first Avengers film as often as I do is that I find that is the first film where I got to see the Hulk that I wanted to see.
Ah, okay.
That is what
you didn't like the Incredible Hulk? I thought it was very good.
The one with Edward Norton.
Ed Norton. Yeah.
I think it had moments. Like, I was disappointed in the final fight scene with him and the Abomination.
Oh, I thought it was
good. The way they did it. It lacked like what Man of Steel had, which is like, if you got two powerhouses like that just smacking each other around, the property destruction, the going through buildings, the things like that, which we did see Hulk doing in Avengers, like literally smashing through a building to get to the other side of the building to get to the bad guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Hulk smash moment was one I wanted.
You've always been a Hulk fan, right?
always been a Hulk fan. Hulk is the first comic book that I read on a month-to-month basis.
Okay. When I was a kid, I was in love with the 1970s show.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think, to me, and you let me know since you read more Hulk than I ever have, I think I only read I might get this wrong. Bruce Jones? Does that sound familiar?
Right. Yeah. The Return of the Monster.
Bruce Jones. That to me is the Hulk. To me, the Hulk is a story of a man running from the government, trying to cure himself.
No, I get that. That's a part of the Hulk.
Okay.
When I started reading the Hulk, it was when he just had gone back to being the Gray Hulk.
Okay. Mr. Fix-It.
Well, even a little bit before that is a story called Ground Zero.
Okay.
So it was Peter David, Todd McFarlane. But yeah, Hulk was gray again, which means he was smarter and like speaking, like he had dialogue.
Okay.
And then through that storyline, yeah, he gets blown. He's in the center of a gamma bomb again. And so everybody thinks he's dead. And that's when they bring up Mr. Fix-It. He's hiding out in Vegas, being an enforcer. And again, it's Peter David. It was Todd McFarlane. It was Dale Keown. It was Eric Larson as artist for a while. All of it was great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just mentioned there was a story called Countdown. It was I think a 4 or 5 part miniseries where the Hulk is poisoned. And in that story with the Gray Hulk, it was a daytime, nighttime transformation.
Oh, okay.
So Bruce Banner would come out during the day and the Hulk would come out at night. And so Fix-It was doing everything he could to stay in the darkness and not go into the light, because if they transformed back into Banner, they'd be dead in like a minute.
Okay.
So, but you see the Hulk getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker until eventually he had to like go. This is where they really started to do like the split personality kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He had to like regress into his mind and talk to Banner to bring Banner's intelligence forth to help them solve the problem and cure themselves.
Really? Okay, that sounds cool.
And they had the breaking down. I mean, Banner, Gray Hulk, and then eventually Green Hulk came out, and that's when they all formed together and made Professor Hulk, which is what I wanted to get in Endgame.
That's what. Hang on, before you finish that sentence. That's what I wanted to ask you. You're a big Hulk fan,
right?
Do you appreciate how he went into how he was in the MCU?
Not at all.
Was it just the steady disappointment that kept building and building, or no?
Well, because I love it. Like when he came out in the Avengers, I absolutely loved it. The moment with Cap when he's like Hulk, and he's like smash, and he like just goes off. You're like, motherfucker, this is exactly what I wanted. Him just chucking aliens left and right and like smashing something. I mean, that was it was great. I loved it. I get goosebumps just talking about it. And
I still remember that part of him jumping all the way to the building, hitting the guy, then turning around and slamming the next guy next to him. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
Well, even as he's jumping through the almost like the traffic of those flying things, he just like bitch slaps one right out of the sky. I mean, you're like, oh, it's so good. So that was all great. And then I loved him in Ragnarok, where it's like,
did you like him? Did you like him in Age of Ultron when he fought Tony?
Yeah, no, I thought that was great too.
Okay, yeah, me too. Okay,
that was great. Ragnarok I loved because we were getting. There's a whole other storyline called Planet Hulk, which they kind of touched on.
Which I like that one. I also like World War Hulk.
Those are great stories.
Yes.
And again, you have, Planet Hulk and you have an intelligent Hulk. I mean, they played him down in Ragnarok where he's still a little bit beastal.
Hey, monster.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, still kind of there, but he could talk, which is what we wanted. I wanted to see a talking Hulk who could communicate. And then we get to Endgame where it's like, well, we kind of had an understanding, and he became like hippie Hulk. And I'm like, that is not Professor Hulk. Professor Hulk is all of the intelligence of Bruce Banner, the attitude of the Gray Hulk with the sheer rage power of the Green Hulk.
So it's the best one.
It is, in my opinion, he's almost overpowered at that point.
Okay, better than the Maestro. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the Hulk who realizes that no one can kill him, and he is like taking over the world.
Right.
But the only time you see any show of strength is when he's so mad that Nat died. Black Widow died. He takes a bench and he chucks it. You've mentioned this in the podcast before. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I liked that he got his ass kicked by Thanos. That didn't bother me because I thought, okay, he's gonna have his rematch. Right. Exactly. That's what we should have seen with Professor Hulk. was the reason he got his ass kicked by Thanos is because the Rage Monster actually doesn't know fighting. He's not a martial
Just
artist.
rages.
He's not a pugilist. He's a brawler. It is
Yeah.
absolute just swinging for the fences, you know,
Yes.
stuff like that. And Thanos, who has a very Hulk is stronger than Thanos. Like Thanos is like, but I know how to fight. Like
Right.
I know how to manipulate and use pressure points and like go to the
Right.
body, go to the head kind of stuff. Professor Hulk should have had a standoff with Thanos of like, all right, motherfucker, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Where and there's so many ways they could have done it. You could have had Banner doing some martial arts stuff with Happy Hogan and Tony Stark. Like, well, here's a little trick. Here's a little thing here. Here's something you could try. You know, as Banner
Yeah.
in movies before. And then when it comes to Endgame, it didn't have to be a long fight. It didn't have to be. He could have beat the crap out of, like, just knocked Thanos down to his knees, and then, like the Power Stone that he did with Captain Marvel,
Yes.
where he like grabs. That should have been with the Hulk.
Right. I actually, if we go back to Endgame, I actually think Thor should have been the one to get everybody back, because I have a theory that Thor's getting his arm cut off in this game, in this one.
Oh, you
And
think so?
I think he is. I think they're going to have to do something to where Gore the God Butcher really shows his force by, like, you know, really handing
Right.
Thor his ass.
Which is correct in the comics. I mean,
right.
Thor
But that's where I was getting at. Like, if he would have wore the gauntlet, it would have weakened that arm.
Yeah.
Or maybe he could have cut it off. I don't know. Maybe it would have. And then in the fight when it was Cap, Thor, and him, he gets it cut off.
Right.
And that is the reason why Hootie Call picks up the hammer. Like, they could have gone that route. And I have another friend of mine. Shout out to Nick, is a big Hulk fan, and he was pissed. He's like, like this is they
Right.
bitched the Hulk. Like, they made him a bitch.
They really did.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing.
I think they did that because they don't own him.
Right. He's still a Sony product?
No,
Is
Paramount.
it Sony? Paramount.
Paramount. And I think they were basically saying, like, okay, if you don't give him to us, we're just gonna make him. He's gonna be in the movie, but he ain't gonna be the movie.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
And I really do like Mark Ruffalo as Banner.
Yeah.
He does a good Banner.
I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know the character as well as you do, to be honest. I know Bill Bixby as the character.
Right, and that even really wasn't as far as the comics go. Now, Edward Norton, I think he made a good Banner as well.
I loved Edward Norton.
I think
he was a little bitch about it, though.
He did a great job. Edward Norton as an actor, unfortunately, is what I mean, and he'll contest every piece of this, but like, sorry, buddy, you were tough to work with.
Yes.
Like, he would have. I can't imagine Edward Norton and Robert Downey Jr. playing well together on the set.
Right. Neither can I, actually. It's funny you say that. And I think that they sensed that. I think they sensed, hey, we got a good thing here with Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans and Robert. And I think they all kind of, and I don't know if this is true, but I think they all kind of put Robert on this pedestal a little bit. Put him on a hierarchy. You're the alpha male, and we're cool with that, right? Yeah. Where I think Edward would have been like, you ain't the alpha male.
Right.
In fact, my character can crush your character into a tin can, like like an aluminum can. Like, you know, I could see Edward going, you know what, Josh, I don't like this whole thing here.
Right.
Like, let's rewrite this.
And it's in my contract that I have a rewrite.
Exactly.
Piece.
And I think,
and that's what.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll be like, all right, thanks, Edward. You know?
Going back to the power broker, maybe you were here when I said this. I thought maybe they were going to bring in the leader as the power broker.
I still hope they do.
I don't think they're going to. I think
think they're going to either. I think it's going to be too flat. Whoever it is, you're going to go, oh,
the leader's too abstract to bring in. I thought even maybe Maria Hill as the power broker.
I don't think it's either we're not going to know, or it'd be cool to me, like, but this is me being a total geek about it. Is like, Von Doom had a girl that was like half robot, half. She had alterations to her, and he was like her
Yeah.
side. I forgot who she was, but she was like his sidekick or his like lieutenant. It'd be cool if it was
Yeah.
her, you know. But they're not going to
I
do
doubt it.
Doom yet. No, they're not going to do Doom yet. I don't think. I think we'll start hearing Doom around Black Panther, maybe, and
Yeah.
Quantum Mania.
Well, and that's, maybe it's someone from Wakanda. Maybe it's Killmonger. Although Killmonger's dead. Never mind.
Yeah.
Not him.
Yeah.
Just someone from Wakanda. Maybe it's one,
Or it's
the Adonijah or
it's
something
been
like that.
Zemo the whole time.
Maybe. Yeah, that could be too.
I don't think it is Zemo because isn't his whole thing like he's against super soldiers? He's not like, hey, I want to make more.
Maybe it's like Von Strucker. He's still around. They didn't kill
Oh,
him.
yeah, that's right. He got kicked in the head, and that's all we've seen him
Yeah.
since. You know what? I'm just afraid it's going to actually be who the power broker was, and everybody's going to go, who? Like,
Who is the
'cause I
power
think-
broker?
I forgot. Like, he actually was a character that
Right.
got so droided out, like steroids out, like so super soldiered out that he had to have
Oh, that's right. He needed
right?
like special machines or something. He was
Yes,
so
to
muscle
help him
bound
move
that he
around.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go that route. I just hope I think it's going to fall flat. Okay. And I think people have built it up for it being somebody big in the universe, not just
Right.
a new character. It's somebody
Totally,
else.
totally gonna be Galactus. I mean, we all know.
Yeah,
how-
exactly. Yeah.
Totally Galactus.
Exactly. It's Reed Richards, actually.
Yeah.
He's doing experiments. But I think it's going to end up just being this guy you go, what? So, hey, new show that we just started watching. And what I mean by just started watching, we literally watched 15 minutes and then Gwen decided that it was Gwen time and we couldn't hear anything anymore. So we stopped it.
Yeah.
The Nevers.
Yeah.
That seems really fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna watch the second episode tonight.
Okay. Is it
comes out on Sundays, I believe.
okay? Am I understanding? Again, I'm 15, 20 minutes into this, but from what I'm understanding, it's
This
kind
is
of an
The
event.
HBO
Yes.
Max series, right? Yes.
Yes, HBO Max series. It's kind of an event that happened that
Yep.
altered only women, and they have like superpowers, right?
No and yes.
Okay. No
Right
to which
now,
part?
that it's just women. I mean, you do. I mean, right now, if you're only 15 minutes in, yeah, all you've seen is women.
Yeah.
It's not just women, but yeah, this event happened.
Okay.
Gosh, you see the event in the first episode. You get to
It's that thunderstorm.
yes,
They're going to show more of it, right?
yes, yeah.
Why are you
I
acting
mean,
like that? What am
because
doing
I don't
wrong?
want to. I don't want to ruin it for you.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I'm not. I mean, I'm actually really into it, so I'll probably go watch it immediately after this podcast. So
Yeah. So do that. But yeah,
Okay.
it's I was really impressed by the acting. Like
Yes.
the first episode, you eventually run into a woman who's crazy, like batshit crazy,
Okay.
and she played it really well. You're like watching,
We're at
like,
the part
ooh.
where they just came back after saving the girl, who I think her power is she can just speak. She understands and speaks every language on Earth or something like that.
Gestalt. You know what? I didn't pick that up, but could be.
Because
Yeah.
she spoke Japanese, then she spoke Russian, then she spoke something real quick,
Yeah.
and that's what that girl was saying. Like she's not
Yeah.
not corrupted by Satan. She's
Yeah.
talking
She's not possessed. She knows other languages. That was another thing. Which is interesting. Kate, who my daughter, who you guys will meet next week, she's very, very much gotten into Victorian era.
I love that.
So there's a lot of steampunk in this show, and she's not like a big steampunk fan, but she's going to be all over this show because of like the social structures.
Yes.
And
I don't know enough about the Victorian age to write. Like I like to creatively write in my spare time, not like my whole 5 seconds in the bathroom.
Sure.
Now that I have that spare time. And this is an era I've always wanted to do. I've just never had the understanding of the era completely. I just love the look of it.
it's fun. I mean,
I don't want to
it
live
looks
in that
very
era.
cool.
That was rough.
Unless I was stupid rich, I wouldn't want to live.
Stupid rich.
Yeah, stupid rich looks cool.
Yes.
The poor part looks terrible. So,
Horrifying, actually.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's that one, which is where I would be. I mean, I would be in the
We'd both be
in the poor part of
we'd
town.
both be there.
So I mean but yeah, the look is very cool. The feel, the music is great. And yeah, it was a fun first episode. Now this is the show that Joss Whedon was a part of. So they're catching a little bit of flack because he's the first credit that comes up,
I didn't even pay attention to the credits, but go ahead.
Well, you didn't see him yet. Written, directed by Joss Whedon. He very quickly exited the project with all of his issues that have come up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's one of his brainchilds, but I'm still going to watch it because
me too.
he's not involved anymore.
Dude,
so.
if it's a good story, I'm going to watch it. That's just how I am.
That's an interesting. Did we have this conversation about the cancel culture? I mean, do you? We'll save this for another time. But the question of the week, and we can discuss it later. Do you still watch, listen to, look at really good stuff, good music, good art, good movies, even though someone involved with it turned out to be a garbage person? Like,
are you asking me right now, or you want to talk about this?
No. I think we talk about it later. But I'm posing this question to our listeners,
Okay.
because I want to know what their opinion is. Like Michael Jackson, was
A pedophile. You can say it.
Yeah, well, but he's put out some really good music. So do you avoid all of his music altogether because of his issues?
It's an interesting question. I know where I fall. I know where Greg falls. And I guess we'll discuss that later.
Yeah, I do. I want to have that discussion.
Cool. Jot that down, because you brought up something else the other time. So put that down. We'll talk about that on our next podcast.
I can manage that.
Yeah. So I think we'll end it there. We're about an hour 10 in. For those of you that are still listening, thank you so much for listening. For TheGreg, I'm Johnny. Everybody, podcast out. Have a great week. Take care.